Hey there, I'm going to be taking a look at this game. We're looking at Karma's perspective. I'm going to do short-ish VOD review. And just all I know is that Karma's team wins. I don't know anything else about it, so we will just kind of see what's going on.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
I would actually be a little more aggressive. Like when they start running here, I would actually go all the way into mid, because it's possible there's a flank coming in through this bush or this bush. Not a big deal, just when somebody gets this deep, I've definitely seen collapses happen. Alright, I'm going to talk a little bit about the teams and the matchups. So, top, both players have a global. Shen's influence with his global is a little better than Gangplank's. Gangplank has more pressure, but I think it's very hard for either person to kill the other without jungle support. Mid, I think it mostly comes down to surprise. If Lilia can kite out Udyr, she should be able to kill him. If Udyr surprises her from a bush, he can probably ghost and stay on top and force her out. Mid is interesting. I think Garen loses this like first couple of levels and then has an advantage probably when he hits 6 especially, and then the longer it goes, the harder it will be for Garen to match Vlad, is my intuition here. That might be wrong. And then for bot lane, you've got Lucian Nami, very aggressive, all in, press the attack, versus Ezreal Karma, so this is much more of a poking lane. So as Karma, I want to be supporting my Ezreal in getting farm and poking the enemy, and I want to be extra careful to not get too close and allow Lucian Nami to hard engage.
Minions have spawned.
Getting the Karma Ezreal also have the range advantage. So if they get a minion lead and slow push, it means that if Lucian Nami actually engage on them when they're, standing back here where they do have threat, then Lucian will be in the minion wave taking extra hits. So as Karma, I would want to support Ezreal in getting a slight minion lead to get the slow push going. You don't want the wave to end up here where they can thin it out a bit and then all in you and run you down all the way back to turret. But if you can have like 2 or 3 minion lead from the beginning, and then a couple minions here, and then crash the cannon wave and reset it, that seems like a pretty good general game plan. That gives Ezreal some gold and should give him the opportunity to recall and like get a tier and whatever else he needs to get started. Overall, trade's looking good so far. Pressuring Lucian when he goes to last hit. And you can see you have 2s, you step up, this all looks great. The only problem, I mean, I'm sure there were like little micro things, but from a more strategic standpoint, there's a lot of split targeting. Like, everybody has taken a bit of damage. If it's possible for you and Ezreal to target the same person, then you'll be getting more mileage out of your damage. If you imagine Nami has taken 200 damage, what if Lucian only had 250 health? There's a lot more threat there. I guess the other thing is the wave got overpushed. You almost never want to crash the second wave. And I would just back up here. I think there was an opportunity definitely for Lucian to kind of pull the trigger and start a big fight when there's 2 minions left. So now that it's not totally reset, but it's reset a little bit. Try and get the minion advantage, so if they want to engage on you, they have to fight through the minions. At some point we saw Udyr, but I wasn't watching the map as closely. So, oh no, that's not how this works. We're in a replay, so I don't think blue side ever saw Udyr. Or red side, rather. But that is the one pretty risky thing that has happened so far, and you know, you didn't get punished for it, but you could have. So crashing wave 2, and you can see Lilia is on her 4th camp. So if we assume Udyr's pathing is similar timing, he could be around wolves, but actually probably a little slower because red side is slower than blue side. Or he could be finishing raptors and walking this way. And as soon as they hit level 2, Udyr walks around this corner, and Lucian flashes in on Karma. There's not enough minions to protect, the tower's too close, and either somebody dies, both people die, or everything gets burned. This just is a situation that looks really bad for red side. And you might think, like, well, okay, sure, but he didn't do that, and how would he know to do that? Well, you can actually see this wave. Let's see. So you can't predict what's going to happen to the wave yet. And this, you might think, like, this is outrageous, junglers aren't going to do this. Junglers might not do this yet, but this isn't completely unreasonable for something that they would do as you get to higher ELO. So I want to point out, like, kind of what you've done to the wave. I would say right about now, Udyr can look at this wave and see that it's going to crash, and he's at raptors. So he can start kiting raptors to the side. It's 220. And let's say he finishes raptors. Yeah, right now. So, but he would be here. 230, so maybe another... Okay, so it's hard for Udyr to really be in position, but Lucian and Nami could definitely start this fight. And if you turn and fight them here, then Udyr's running around this wall, you know, a couple seconds later. So my kind of long-winded explanation there is stepping up this much when the wave is dead is really risky, and crashing the second wave is similarly risky. You don't have enough time to back, and you're letting the enemy equalize on level 2, and the next wave is isn't going to be even because you didn't shove the second wave in fast enough. And so there's this little window where, you know, you weren't punished this game, but you won this game. So I got to look at some things that could have happened that didn't. And so that's a place where this could have gone awry early. Anyway, keep looking at what actually happened. So I like that you're pressuring the wave, making it hard for them to engage. You're holding your shield, so as soon as Lucian goes in, you can back off. I wish Ezreal hadn't taken those tower shots, but you can't control what Ezreal is doing. Yeah, you get out right as Karma. I don't think it matters very much how much damage you take here, because you're on the recall either way. I guess the one thing is if you were full health, so if you had... Okay, so... Ezreal kills Lucian, or Nami, and then Lucian dashes in. Ezreal has no cooldowns, there's no way you're killing Ezreal. So you could run straight up, or as soon as Udyr goes down, you can just run past him. I don't think trying to get this last hit on Lucian matters. You could just back out here. And the reason that this is important is you can make it impossible for Lucian to stay and push in the wave without Udyr also staying. Because what ends up happening is you get low enough now that it's like one combo from Udyr to kill you. And so if you were to stay in the lane, that's way too risky. If you're full health and you stay in the lane and make it so Lucian, like let's say you're standing around here. Did you have a ward? Let's see. I think you did have a ward, so you could also have walked up here and put the ward down when you have your shield up. You know Udyr used Ghost, so he doesn't have... He can't really gap close on you if your shield is ready. And you can hover around here and keep harassing Lucian and basically saying, like, you either need to get jungler support or you have to recall. You don't get to get this wave for free. Or you have to wait for Nami to get back. And the effect that the longer term effect that this can have is that he then can't crash this big wave. And it would allow you to potentially set up a freeze, because he was basically pushing it as hard as he could from here. You get back just in time to see the wave fully crash, letting Lucian actually take the reset that he wanted. And this is actually a moment where you could have predicted this state. So I think from here it's not totally clear, but you could start taking this path towards Lilia to kind of hedge that you might want to go mid. And I think around this point you can see, okay, my wave is all the way back here, this wave is huge. Maybe you're looking mid instead of running straight bot. I can see an argument for going bot anyway, because there's a lot of golden XP to pick up. And maybe you don't want to miss all of this, and there wasn't really anything to do mid, and maybe you knew all these things. But I think a path, like, slightly diagonal there makes a little more sense, because you can predict that when you get back to lane, there's not going to be anything for you to do except collect resources. Lucian's going to back, Nami's going to probably roam. I would expect Nami to leave as soon as that wave gets pushed in and look for something. Like right here, Nami and the jungler being here makes a lot of sense. Garen's pretty low. Vlad's going to hit 6 soon. Vlad has Ignite. There's opportunities for Vlad to dive under tower. Nami is freed up because of the way the wave was left. Let's see if I'm prescient. So Udyr is here, but Nami is not. So where is Nami? Yeah, Nami's not being as proactive as she could have been. There was definitely a window there where she could have... Like, she got back to lane, pushed the wave, and then recalled immediately. She could have easily run mid once it was clear the wave was going to get under tower and become a part of this fight. And then Vlad can bait it, and then it's a 3v2 that you aren't even attempting to be a part of. And you can see that this fight is incredibly important. The Vlad-Garen matchup is very snowbally. You know, Vlad has enough health to not get bursted by Garen and to heal up and out-sustain him, or he doesn't. Wait, what happened? Where is Nami? What is she... Oh, she wrote... Wow, okay. Well, I... I think this roam is terrible. Because the fight's already done. I don't know. It's weird. Lucian is being a potato here, though. Like, the wave is pushing towards him. He's not going to miss that much if he... Like, he steps up to get 2 minions, and then just... You guys just all in him. And this is great. Like, he doesn't... He shouldn't be allowed to CS. You saw the jungler was mid, you saw mid was mid. And even if Nami's there, it's not like she's going to walk around this corner and all of a sudden you're going to die because you stepped up that far. This is a place where you're both full health, you know you've got 15 or so seconds. I would try and dive the Nami, but I can respect the decision not to, because if you're not on comms with this Ezreal, you just never know what he's going to do. But I think this is way too respectful. You have like 20 minions, you're both level 5 and Nami is level 3. You saw Vlad mid who was low, you saw Udyr mid who was low. You should just walk past the tower and kill this Nami. Ignite her, hold tower aggro while Ezreal pounds her. That, not what I meant. And that's just like another big lead for you in the coffin. Like, if you can leave Nami at level 3 and then stagger the respawns again, this lane is completely over. I mean, you have a big lead now. Like, you're already winning by quite a bit, I imagine. Yeah. But if you kill Nami there, it's really, really over. Okay, so Gangplank is crushing it. So, as far as things you should be looking for right now, you know Lilia's in the area. So if you get a kill, you can roll it into Drake. Or if you get them low, you can pull Lilia down and have her fight, like join a fight. So I would be looking now to be a bit more aggressive because of how close Lilia is. Like, I think a trade, even if you both trade and get relatively low, it's fine because you're stronger than they are and you have jungler support. And Vlad is still tied up mid. Vlad is definitely stronger than Garen, but Vlad is still occupied mid, so you shouldn't have to worry about him. So that all seems fine, and I wouldn't worry about the wave. You have priority here. I think it was reasonable to rotate to that fight because you would get there before Lucian Nami, but given how low Lilia was, I think it was also reasonable to just back up and not do it at all. What I would be looking for is getting Ezreal back, since he's relatively low on mana. I don't really know where Nami went again. It seems strange.
Killing spree.
Hold the wave here. Be really careful about this because you know Udyr was nearby. So... I don't think you ever see what... I think this is incredibly risky. I don't know what's going on there. There's some bug with the replay, but I'm pretty sure you never saw Udyr. And it's not unreasonable... Well... Nami's out of mana, though. This just feels like a bit of a stretch to me. Like, I can see reasons to go for it, but also... You know Udyr just took Drake, and it's not unreasonable that he's just in this bush. And you step up and start the fight, and he walks around the corner, and you get baited pretty hard. But it works out. Nami was low on mana, so maybe it's more like a 3v2, which you should be able to win or at least get out of, but then you did end the fight with 50 health, so like, I'm not totally sure. You need to help him shove this wave in. I don't think you should back here. I think you should walk up and kill this wave and kill the next wave. Or at least put enough damage on it that Lucian has to really take some time and health if he wants to freeze. But overall, your team has a pretty sizable lead. A lot of that is from Gangplank. We haven't really been talking about the Shen ult or playing around it, which I think is largely because Gangplank just kind of won the game on his own. It didn't seem like there was a lot of jungle support either way up there. Which definitely is a factor in some of these fights. Like, alright, I'm going to look at this one last time. Okay, so... Shen is alive, does have ult. Okay, here's my worst case scenario for you. Udyr is in this bush, you didn't confirm that he left the area, and Shen ults onto Lucian. Then they get a double kill and they take this tower. And all of a sudden this game that you are extremely winning becomes a game that you are now even. Or possibly even losing, because the follow-up here is like, Lilia comes to defend, and then they kill her 3v1. Or they get this next tower, or... I don't know exactly, but I think this fight was too risky, given that you're already in a pretty good winning state. But I'm not going to go on and on and on about this game. There's too much to talk about. So I hope what I covered so far was helpful, and you learned something interesting. Good luck!